Hi everybody, welcome to the Shock Factor series video 13. Okay, and in this video, we shall be looking at the 13th hurdle, but again, slightly different title. It is all about deciphering what is real in the markets. So it's a slightly different title, but yet again, it is all under the Shock Factor video series. Okay, it is designed to highlight and bring to light all the underlying mysterious, sometimes totally non-intuitive factors that surrounds trading and investment. Somebody got to do that dirty job, and well, I guess that's me. Okay, I'm not Mr. Doom or anything. Okay, I'm not trying to get anyone down or promote any kind of depressive mindset or anything like that. No. My intention and my purpose is to bring to light very challenging situations and scenarios. Okay. All right. And of course, eventually, how do we actually address all this? How do we resolve all this? Or at least mitigate some of it? Okay. But that will come later on. Okay. So again, let's look at the 13th hurdle. How to decipher what is real in the markets. And this is a truly shocking video. It is shocking. Again, this video, the intention of this video is to help everybody not fall for outrageous marketing tricks and so on. Okay, we have to be very careful. There are a lot of misinformation going on in the markets, and we have to protect ourselves. And I'm here to help you understand the process of how this works, how misinformation works, and how to protect yourself. Okay, all right. So let's carry on with the rest of this video. Let's press on to the next slide. Okay, let's consider this scenario. Let's say you come across a trading guru or some kind of investment fund with an exceptional percentage ROI performance. Let's assume over the last 1 to 2 to 3 years. And that's amazing. You have an exceptional percentage ROI performance over such a significant period of time, which amounts to probably hundreds and hundreds of trades. Okay, so this is fantastic. So this is what they promote to you. This is what they offer you. It's part of their marketing campaign. You went to a preview or something, or you found them on the internet or whatever. They show you all your trading records and so on, and you're very impressed. So now you're extremely tempted to join this investment fund by putting in some of your hard-earned capital. So far, everything sounds very good, but yet there could be something lurking beneath. Okay, so let me show you what that is. Yeah, you'll be shocked, trust me. And this is a simple version. This video is showing you the simple version. The actual complexity that belies this kind of investment scam is a little bit more complex than what I'm showing you here in this YouTube video, because it's merely a YouTube video, so I can't go into all the complexities, but at least you get some idea. So you can see much further, and you can see danger coming a mile away. All right, so let's carry on to the next slide. So you're extremely tempted. You want to join the fund, you want to put in some of your hard-earned capital as well as your future children's inheritance. Okay, so let's press on. After all, you know what? Everything looks good. The fund's performance looks very authentic. The speaker sounds good. Whoever is presenting on the internet, the online presentation was fantastic. But not only that, for the icing on the cake, not only does the fund looks great or the presentation was fantastic, be it online or maybe you went to some kind of a preview somewhere, but this fund was fully audited by a very reputable global accounting firm. Imagine that, a reputable global accounting firm, one of the big 4 or big 5s, they attest to your performance, this particular fund's trading records, and they confirm in public that the trading was real. He was using real capital over the stated period or the duration of trading. And therefore, what we have right now is a proven performance. So that's fantastic. Not only was the presentation amazing online, not only was the preview, if you attended physically, okay, at one of the premises that they advertised, and you were very impressed with the speaker. They showed you all kinds of proofs and all the past performances. Not only that, on top of that, it was fully audited by a reputable global accounting firm. Now, how much better can you get than that? Isn't it? So no question about it. It is a proven performance. So far, we all, I believe you agree with me if this is the case, okay? All right, so let's carry on to the next slide. So inevitably, this is to be expected. You invest. As usual, not long after that, you start losing all your hard-earned invested capital. This is typical. No, it's just typical. So why? Why does this happen so often in the industry? Why is this a very commonplace occurrence? Well, basically, you just got scammed. As simple as that. And again, this whole thing was very, very insidiously orchestrated without the perpetrators necessarily infringing any laws. That's the worst part. You will understand why in a few minutes. Over the next few slides, why I'm saying this. It is a scam, yes, we can agree on that, but it's a scam done in a way that is arguable. And that's the problem. There's a lot of gray areas, okay? All right, okay, let's carry on. Just to summarize, it is a case of pure, extreme misrepresentation of the facts. And that's it. Whichever investment company or guru that does this or uses this method, it's a common method. It's quite common. A lot of scammers use this, especially in the investment industry. It's quite common. I just want to bring it to your attention. If you have not heard of it, okay? If you have not heard of it, well, today you will hear of it. Trust me. Okay, I will be shouting from the rooftops, all right? Of course, metaphorically speaking. Okay. So again, this is one of the most typical and common ways how misrepresentation is used to scam everybody. Okay? So you see a fund, very well marketed, very well presented, either online or otherwise. They have audited records by reputable accounting firms. Okay? They have all of it. All of it. So the question is, what can go wrong? Is there a way that all this can go sideways? Well, yeah, of course, definitely. Let me show you how. Let's assume we have two funds, Fund A and Fund B. Of course, this is from the scammers, okay? This is the scamming investment funds. Nothing to do with us, okay? So they have two funds. They start off with two funds. This is one way that they can do it. I mean, there are other ways as well. As I said, this video is highly simplified. It is much more complex than this, actually. So again, they established two funds, Fund A and Fund B. The trick is this, Fund A and Fund B, they have a relationship. Either they are highly or fully hedged accounts with respect to each other. So for example, if one fund goes mainly short, the other fund goes mainly long. They're heading in different directions. So therefore, let's assume that the market moves over a period of 6 months to 3 years or whatever. And eventually, what's going to happen? If it's well orchestrated, one fund will make money. For example, let's assume this fund makes money, Fund B makes money, but Fund A loses money. Okay, he has a drawdown of, let's assume 1 million US, and Fund B makes 1 million US. The only thing the scammers or these investment scammers or investment funds actually suffers is probably just a little bit of loss in terms of trading costs. But you know what? The rewards will come later. Okay, so this Fund A loses money, so they hide the fund. Fund B makes money. I mean, as I mentioned just now, they go audit the fund, this winning fund, they audit the winning fund and begin highly aggressive marketing campaigns to promote this fund. Because after all, they have audited results from highly reputable global accounting firms. What else can you ask for? How much more proof do you need? Isn't it? For the normal guy in the street, it's proof enough for me. It's proof enough. And you know what is the worst part? These reputable global accounting firms, they don't even know that they have been misrepresented. They don't know about Fund A. They got no idea about Fund A. Fund A is hidden and is disappeared into the dark of night for the rest of eternity. No one ever sees it again. But the scammers did not lose anything. They lost 1 million on this side. They made 1 million on this side. No skin off their nose, basically. It's straightforward, okay? Just maybe a little bit of trading costs, a little bit of setup costs, a little bit of administrative costs, and so on. That's all. Just a little bit of expenditure, okay? After all, they have to spend to expand. They're planting the seeds. So this is normally what happens, but this is very simplified, okay? So therefore, if fund A is mainly short, fund B is mainly long, over a period of time, one fund will make money, the other will lose, assuming the market has a good move, okay? All right, in one direction. If not, either one. If it doesn't, still one fund will be making, the other still be losing, okay? All right, so that is how it's being manipulated. It is what the funds are designed to do, fund A and fund B. One will lose, the other will make, preferably winning and losing around the same amount, okay? So this is how they set up in the beginning. This is how they set up the whole thing out. Hide this fund, hide the losing fund, promote the winning fund. But again, it is just a misrepresentation. Okay, so let's press on to the next part of the process. So right now, they hide this fund. And again, don't forget, this fund is normally traded in a different broker under probably a different name. So they're just waiting to see which fund makes money. They have no idea either. And they could have actually started many funds, fund A, fund B, fund C, fund D, fund E, fund F, and so on at the same time. Okay, all with different names, traded under different brokers in different countries. All right, this is how they go big time. Okay, so now let's move on to the next part of the process. Let's press on to the next shocking slide. Okay, so now the process starts. So fund B was the winning fund. Let's call it the sub fund, the subsidiary fund. There's a reason why I'm calling it a subsidiary. So let's just shorten it to the sub fund. And this is the main fund. This is the fund where we got fresh blood coming in from the markets. This is the investor funds, all the new guys coming in, the new investors and all that, okay? Because they are so impressed with Fund B's audited accounts, fantastic percent ROI over the last 6 months to 3 years, and so on. They are fully convinced. The auditors could actually probably even go on stage to attest to the actual audited result. Because the auditors, unfortunately, they don't know about Fund A. They were not apprised, informed of the existence of Fund A. That's the problem. This is the second stage of the process. So Fund B is now promoted. Let's call it the sub-fund. And this one trades against the investor fund. This represents new money, fresh capital from the market. Now a different process takes over. Now this is not normally fully hedged. Normally it's partially hedged, unlike in the first stage, where both these funds belong to the scammer, or the scammer investment fund, or the guru scammer investment fund. So now in stage 2 or phase 2, the scammer fund, Fund B, which is now being fully audited and promoted and marketed all over the world. And maybe it's not even to look for investor funds. Maybe they're promoting lessons and all that to show that they are awesome traders. The funds they trade are amazingly profitable. So that could be the end game. That could be the first end game. The second end game is to look for investors to come in. So now investors come in under a certain brokerage, which of course been promoted by Fund B, the scammers in Fund B. So fresh capital comes in from the market. This is fresh money, okay? Fresh blood. All right. So they trade against the investor fund. The sub-fund trades against the main fund, okay? So this is how it works. Let's say Fund B goes long, buys 1,000 shares, for example. And what they do is that they will sell 5,000 shares in the main fund. Sub-fund, long 1,000 shares. Main fund, shorts 5,000 shares. This is what they do. This is how they manage the main fund. But trade it against the sub-fund. So let's assume the shares fall by $3. So again, if it falls by $3, if the market declines by $3 for that particular stock, these shares make 15K. They gain 15K. 5,000 shares across $3, you make 15,000. You know, if you do a road show, everybody will be joining that fund, or everybody will be taking your lessons, either one. So anyway, so this fund over here, the main fund, makes 15K. The fund over here, the scammer fund, loses 3K. 1,000 shares over $3 loses 3K. Okay, but you know what? Let's just assume, for the sake of simple calculations, for the sake of simplicity, the performance fee is 50%. This can be anything, of course. They can design whatever they want. As long as the main fund accepts it, they can proceed. So let's assume the performance fee is 50%. So out of 15,000 that this main fund has just gained, they pay out 7.5, 50% to the scammer fund, Fund B. So although the scammer fund lost 3K, but it gained 7.5K in terms of commission. So overall, they make 4.5K. The investors also make money. They make overall, after gaining 15, they pay out 7.5K in terms of commission. They are still left with a balance profit of 7.5. So everything looks hunky-dory. The skies are blue and the birds are singing and everything is great, fantastic. Everyone wins. Let's look at the next scenario. So again, don't forget the scammer fund makes money, regardless. In this case, the main fund also makes money. So far, so good. Let's carry on to the final scenario where, let's assume the shares goes up. Okay, the stock rises by $3. So again, since we are short 5,000 in the first place for the main fund, now the investor fund or the main fund loses 15K. It's just going in the opposite direction, that's all. Do they pay any commission? No. No performance, although it's 50%, but there was no performance, so no payout in performance fee. None. But overall, they have lost 15K. Does the scammer fund care about that? Of course not. They're not liable for investor losses because the investors have already signed a simple agreement agreeing that they understand that trading or investment involves loss, a risk of loss. So they have already agreed to that. So scammers may not have any conscience whatsoever. So the stock moves up by $3. The main fund loses 15, no commission payout whatsoever. But you know what? The scammer fund makes 3K. They were long 3,000 in the first place. But they don't get any commission, but overall, they still make money. So what does this mean in the big picture? It means regardless of which way the market moves, the scammer fund will always make money, regardless. Well, it's not so fun for the main investors, of course, or for the main fund. You see that? So go back to the earlier slide. Market falls, scammer fund makes money. Market rises, scammer fund makes money. In this case, my big question is, do you need technical analysis? Of course not. The scammer fund, all they need to do is get a few guys sitting there, close their eyes, flip a coin, and just click on buy or sell. That's all. And they will still make money. Who cares which way the market goes? You see that? But of course, this entire setup is unethical. It's immoral. It's wrong. You can't do that. It's not right. Okay? So again, pure misrepresentation has taken place. The scammer fund will always exist. They will always carry on. This fund starts to lose a lot of money. Of course, the scammer fund still continues to make, but what if this fund continues to lose money? Of course, you can expect all the investors who start leaving. Okay? They start jumping boat. And guess what? The scammer fund will now repeat the entire process. Repeat and rinse. Go back to the first phase 1, start another fund A, fund B. Whichever fund takes off, whichever fund turns out to be a winning fund, go audit that fund, start the marketing campaign again, get investors in, go back to this stage where whichever way the market moves, it doesn't matter, down, up, down, the scammer fund will always make money. So this is the reason, okay, why you have to be extremely careful. Just because a fund is audited and promoted worldwide by reputable auditing firms, they say, yes, we have looked at their records, we have audited, and it's real money, real performance. I mean, what else can the normal guy in the street say? The moment you offer that fund to the public, everyone will be queuing from here to Mexico, just to get in. This is the problem. And unethical gurus will also use the same technique, not to establish an investment fund or anything like that, but to convince students to join them. They only show the records, which are real records, by the way. It could be audited as well. But there's a chance that they could be hiding the losing fund, see? And only promoting the winning fund. That can happen as well, under different scenarios. This is only one kind of scam. I'm showing the simplified version. There are many out there, not using this method, but some other design, some other mechanism, some other setup, okay? Some other process. This is the most common. And the process repeats and repeats. Okay? So don't just fall prey to any marketing. Don't do that. So what is the solution? So the $64 million question is, how do you spot misrepresentation in the markets? Although it's fully audited, all the check boxes are ticked perfectly. But how do you spot a misrepresentation? That is the question. That is the question. So therefore, are you shocked by this? Yeah, and this is very common. It's so common in the market. So they carry on. Investors has agreed to losses. So once the funds start losing, the main fund start losing, they just jump boat, they skip, they go find another fund. And they just say, oh, this fund is not performing. But little do they know that the scammer fund is still making money either way. So if this fund collapses, if the main fund collapses, because everything is based on performance fee, they believe that this fund, Fund B, or the fund managers, or whoever is trading for them, they believe that, oh, they too earn nothing because they are only paid in terms of being able to perform. So if this fund collapses, the investors are, of course, they hate losing money, of course. Nobody loves losing money. But they won't be so hard on the fund managers, the scammer fund managers over here. Why is that? Because they believe that the fund managers, they have not profited in any way either, because it's all based on performance fees. But that's not true. They trade against the main fund. The sub fund trades against the main fund. That is the part that a lot of investors don't understand. Okay. Okay, enough. I think enough shocking news for today. And I guess it is, I guess that's what it's called, video 13. Yeah, it's a shocking video indeed. So the $64 million question, finally, again, let me repeat. How do you spot this kind of misrepresentation in the markets? That is the question you have to ask yourself. Okay? There are ways you can spot it, yeah, of course. There are telltale signs and all that. You can tell. But I can't do it in this video. Maybe sometime in the future video, we can talk about it. Again, this shock factor series is not to give solutions, it's to unearth, okay? It's to bring to light shocking challenges that exist in the market that you must know about. You cannot jump into the market being so naive and being so trusting in everything that you see and everything that you hear. I hope to carry on the shock factor series, okay, as long as I can, to unveil more shocking facts and more challenging situations. All right, either in terms of applying technical analysis or just in and of themselves. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining me in this shocking video. Again, I shall see you in the next, even more shocking video very shortly. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Take care. Be safe. And bye-bye.